Welcome to Durga's Taiga Tantra podcast. My name is Iris Disse. We are sitting here in Ecuador in our school in this moment. We share teachings of Tantra, yoga, arts and shamanism so that you can get a taste of it and how all this teaching dance together. We created this podcast and we really hope enjoy it. I hope. Hey everybody. Thank you for being here today with me, making an exploration about male-female energy, yin, yang, Shiva, Shakti. So what all does that mean? And what does it mean also for our love life and everyday life? Being out there in this crazy, beautiful world. Okay. So let's start with the Tai Chi Tu, the Yin Yang sign. I guess you all have seen it. You have a white drop and a black drop and a circle around, and in the middle of the white dot is a black one, and in the middle of the black one is a little white one. Okay. I think this symbol shows very beautiful what the pure forces or powers of male-female are called. Yin is the female side, it's coming from China, and Yang is the male side. So what does this very simple but genial, or genial, simple show us? We have male power. White solar power seen from the vision of the Chinese seers. And that means it is active, sunny, positive, and at the same time it is moving this energy. If it moves in the spiral, it moves counterclockwise, as it is seen that it moves back to oneness. So against the clock, back into the center. Then we have the female one, the yin sign, the black one. So that is a mystery, darkness, earth, quiver, birth. And the yin, Chinese way to see it, it is the passive, receptive energy. These two, you could say they're very different, they're opponents. But one cannot be without the other. So they are totally in one circle, and the circle is, you can say it's a creator that is holding these two forces together. So to imagine it better, just think of electricity. There is a plus pole and a minus pole. And these two poles are just creating the flow of energy. So if you would say the plus pole is much better than the minus pole, because I like plus more than minus. That would be a little bit crazy, because two plus poles would never create the flow of energy, two minus pole also not. Nothing would happen. Huh? So that is meant by the yin-yang sign. Whether it's male or female, you cannot say it is better to be a female or better to work with male energy. They totally belong together. And to demonstrate that, we have always already the seed of the contrary inside of every symbol. That's why in the black one is a white dot and vice versa. So that means that we are paradox beings. We think we are very much in one side, in one pole, but no, the contrary is already growing inside us. Yes. So what is seen and meant is that what we need in this material world where we live in, if we want the material world, if we want to have life on this world, then we need that these poles dance together. We have ecstasies and a strong, healthy life. If both poles, they can never be totally aligned the same or in one balance, then no life would be there and no material world would be there. So they're always dancing with each other. So one is always a little bit stronger than the other one. And if this dance of balance and positive tension is happening, again, we feel strong and very good in our personal power. If it's happening, for example, inside of us, because we have both poles inside of us, man or woman. And even we can balance our hormones in a way that these two poles can dance together in a beautiful way. If now these two poles are very much apart, what happens then we feel sick, without energy, and we really have a life which feels burdened. So the spiritual work we usually do is to balance these two poles inside of us, and don't judge outside in the world if we see one pole is stronger, but always going for balance, knowing that the total balance doesn't exist. And if we are very close, like men and women in love, in this moment we just go and shoot up beyond time and space and meet in the non-material world, being just two souls who are melting to each other and melting into oneness. God's grace happening. And then we come back into our lives, feeling our body again, feeling the other, and our heart is open and we are so grateful. And we can feel that the divine can dance in between us in this moment. So what I said, the explication, how they interpret the male and female, can be very different, because I try to put something in words what is a mystery. No? We are mysterious beings. And so it comes that in the Tantric point of view, if we see Shiva, Shakti, the interpretation is different. So in the world of Tantra, Shakti is the active one. Shakti is the one who is always creating. All nature, everything here what is created in the material world is Shakti. The sun is Shakti. And the male energy is pure consciousness. Just see this Shakti you see usually dancing, and Shiva you can see in different forms, but one very known form, he is just an asket sitting on top of the Himalaya mountain, on his tiger skin, in deep meditation. And he's not moving. And he is pure light of consciousness. So it is said in the Tantras that Shiva couldn't even move his eyelids without the power of his creative Shakti. And Shakti would just create, I don't know what, crazy chaotical stuff without the consciousness of Shiva. So there it is also very clear there is no male energy without female energy dancing together, balancing each other, as long as we are in a physical world, in a material world. So that is interesting. Then if we go back to the yin and yang concept, it is not so easy as we think, because as always the opposite is already there in their dots. For example, yes, the male energy is white, is solar. But if you see the seeds of the man, they are lunar. No, with that, solar. So the seeds are lunar, no? And if you go to the woman who is in the darkness, in this black space, dark space, and is lunar, the ovulum, so the egg, is solar. So the sky is solar, the earth is lunar. But in the moment there are clouds, then the sky becomes feminine. And if it's raining, the earth becomes masculine because it is seeded by the... So in the yin and yang system, it's always changing. There is always a dance and a change, same like in the Shiva Shakti system of the Tantrics. Okay, to understand that is beautiful, because then going now to our lives, to the society we live in, we have, let's look for cine, for pictures. There are very strong pictures what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman. So you still have the lonely hero saving the world alone. And you have the woman who is maybe helping him. Usually he has female helpers and giving him strength and power. In the classical picture, which my parents still lived, it was the man earns the money and goes out into the world. He makes the politics and goes out, and the woman is more home and with the children, cooking, doing whatever. It seemed to be female work. So that seemingly you would say, yeah, that was before. That has nothing to do with that anymore. No. We are now modern women, modern men. And it is true that in our inner imagery, we women now feel really free. We can have more than one sexual partner, and we are not called whore. Even if we separate or from our partner or husband, we are socially still accepted. We can even earn our own money, and if the man doesn't pay, we would have enough money to bring up our kids alone. Minimum in the north of our planet, it is like that. So, like in Germany, if you don't have the money as a woman being alone with your kids, you get help from the state. So yes, in this moment it seems that we are pretty far from that. These old pictures, imagery can just be dropped. So it would be a really great chance that we can reinvent ourselves. And it's a very beautiful moment where love has a space, because I love somebody not because he can fulfill my needs. Like before, like in my mother's generation, I still had to marry a man that he can pay me and my children, because my mother still wasn't even permitted to work if my father didn't give the written allowance in Germany. So that's not so long time ago. No, today I can work, I can do my thing. And the man can do that too. We can decide to have the children together, and everybody works just half time. We have a lot of space of creation, and I see that as a wonderful chance. But why so often things get so dramatic, complicated? Why so many couples feel they don't know how to stay together, they have to separate? Why so often the kids still stay in the middle? So this chance for love, why is it not, why we can take it and live it? So here it comes, these old patterns which are still working inside of us. There is a beautiful book, in the moment I don't know the name of the author, which is saying the longing of the strong woman for the strong man. No? And there are a lot of other roles. The prince, the role of the princess for man to be the prince, saving the woman, is one. What they all analyze it, that in our inner man as women and our inner woman as men are still in the old archetypes. So that we, being a strong woman and having lovers, very often in my experience working with a lot of couples of all ages, nothing happens. They can have a lover and they feel free and strong and wanted and sexy. The moment they feel and meet your great love, yeah, in this moment suddenly you just drown, you disappear, your energy disappears, and you don't know what the hell is happening. What is happening with my energy? Why just, if I'm with my big love, why I feel suddenly weak? That happens to a lot of women. What I do is I give my partner all my energy. As a woman, unconsciously, it's not that the partner usually asks for it anymore if both are strong and conscious, but it's the old pattern who tells me if I really love a man, I have to give him all my energy. And I saw so many couples, so many manager women who just, I'm sitting beside them we coming from a film making trip and have been 3-4 days in the jungle. She's driving back in the car, I'm sitting on her side, and her partner is calling, and in this family with kids, she's working and earning the money, so he is home and also cooking, so they changed roles. What would be great, but he makes a big scene and starts to say, "What, you will come 2 hours late? That's too much, it cannot be possible." And she starts to cry. "Yes, love, I'm very sorry," and da-da-da-da. And I can't really believe it. And even what is happening, that she is a woman who worked with the indigenous. We are coming from a film take about showing indigenous women that they have the right not to be beaten, for example, and have the same rights to leave the house or to meet friends like men have. So she is a very conscious woman about this, but with in her own partnership, she just breaks together in a telephone call because she is working, earning the money, coming 2 hours late from a really 4-day trip, and her partner makes a scene. And that I saw it's one story, but I saw in many stories. And also men very often still don't feel very well, even if they choose, and that I can say from my story too, to stay home. Okay, so in my story it was like this, that we said when our son was born and getting older, that we decided, okay, one works and the other is more staying with the son, and then 6 weeks after 6 years we changed. So I did everything that I become the first one to work. And I did. And we went to Ecuador, and I had a beautiful job to build up a cultural radio in Quito with artists and political active people, more left-wing people, social-orientated people in Ecuador. So that was really great. So, and my partner happy to be home, saying, now I can write my book. He was building the house, being with the son, and it could have been an ideal life, but suddenly he said, but nobody calls me, nobody asks for me, I'm never going out, what the hell is happening? And he got really unhappy in this like houseman position. And I became more masculine. I remember a scene where I suddenly said, hey, there was just one bread maker, a German one, with full-corn bread in this valley, in this moment where we arrived. And so it was one day she sold her bread, Thursdays. And I come out Thursday night and he had forgotten it. And I say, how can you forget this? Da, 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 da. Yeah? So suddenly we started to laugh because we saw our role, that the moment we just changed the roles, also all the emotions which are tied to these roles became alive. So that was a very interesting experiment we had. And later we just both worked and both could balance it again much better, and both had time with the son. So was a big relief. Then, okay, society. So you see that the man should be strong, should be knowing, should save, should be heroes at the end. So what happens if a man doesn't feel like this? And what's about sexuality? In sexuality, it is still wanted that the man knows, and the woman is just waiting that he knows and brings her high and helps her to be fulfilled, loving, open-hearted. But that is nothing what we learned about communication. So we cannot communicate this wanting. So what is happening? The man tries to not show that he doesn't know. How shall he know if he just says maybe talking with other men or looking in books, if the woman doesn't tell him? And very often we women get more and more frustrated because we are afraid to talk what we want, and because he should know. And yeah, so maybe you know this situation. And then when you start to talk about it, then suddenly you have not the right words, and your partner gets really upset, because if a woman starts to lead and say, I would like this and that, then he thinks, am I not good enough? No. And the woman, yeah, okay, you can understand what this creates, and I guess many of you lived it already. After thousands of years of a patriarchal system, which created these archetypes in a way that man and woman can never be happy together and can never come together. So just one is the non-communication, because there is so much shame in women and also in men about sexuality. I mean, sexuality was seen as a deathly sin if you just make sex for fun, to say, like the church, or for lust. That wasn't positive. Sex was always there to make children, and that was it. So that means that these archetypes are still working out inside of us. For even being educated and being in a world where things are sold with naked women or half-naked women, everything is so sexualized, but it is not inside us, and very often we cannot live a beautiful, heart-opening sexuality where sex and heart are just pulsating together. Another one, so one thing that sex was bad, that our whole energy system for navel down was seen as dirty, as not okay. And it's still there. If we think about it and start to be conscious about it, it's very strange, because the first two chakras, the one is the root chakra, and the second, where we are rooting in our, where we are from, where we are coming from. Here it is where life is growing inside the womb of the woman. Here it is coming out. Then the second one, where all our relation, our love relations, our friendships. So if all these spaces of relating is seen as dirty and bad, it is the same. And we should just start from navel up, from our heart chakra, to open up and connect with the divine, to be good. That is a female picture, which, for example, that later. That means that it could be, you could describe a tree, a flowering tree, and you say, okay, I would like to cut him the roots because they are in the earth, they are ugly and fail, and I just accept this beautiful flowering tree. You know what happens if you cut it. I mean, the tree dies. And that was the same what happened with us humans in the moment where we were forced to accept this imaginary that we are dirty, sexuality is dirty, and in a tantric way, we can start to experience, if we open these energy channels, that is something which is totally sacred, beautiful, and it is really creating love. Sexuality, when the energy flows from the first, second, third to my heart chakra, and sex and heart start to dance together, then love is born. And so what is wanted in Tantra to become conscious about all that. I am a sacred being, my sexuality is sacred, and not important whether I'm men and women. Here, in working with couples, I see that also men have this kind. Because yes, they are more traditionally more allowed to have sex, like men should have experience, but still they feel that also their sexuality is a sort of dirty if it's gone with passion. So there was the division because in between the holy woman or the whore. That's why so many men thought, or still think, that my wild sexuality, my sexual dreams, I shouldn't live with my woman. With my woman, I'm just having soft, careful sex, and the wild dreams, I live with the whores. So it is still there in our society. From a tantric point of view, that is poisoning our life energy. So there, again, what we do is to become conscious about our energy field, conscious about sexuality, and we can start to feel the Shiva Shakti energy at the beginning, starting in between, dancing in between us, ourselves. We learn how to create a consciousness, how our own energy flows. So the first things we start to learn is I'm a sexual being, and that is sacred, and I'm a sexual being, and God wants me to be a sexual being, that's why I am here. And the same time, I start to be conscious the best lover cannot help me to have ecstasies if I don't know my own system, my own body, and if I didn't learn how to hold energy in my own body, because sexual orgasmic energy, it's energy. How many of us and couples have just some seconds, we think about sexuality, it happens, and then there are some seconds of orgasm and ciao, it is gone. And then we say, that was all. And again, the longing starts to pulsate. My experience is with my partner, like if I can really hold my energy and learn this, then one thing is the orgasms become much longer because they pulsate not only in my genitals, they really start to, in waves, to start to expand into every cell, into my whole body. And the same, if really heart and sex come deeply together, then something is satisfied on a very profound level, and suddenly it is like going through something and I came up again and I feel free coming out of this sexual heart meeting. Then we made love. Then I don't need more and more and more. And that is very interesting. So again, the picture, if I see it in front of my inner eye, it is like this, that they call it even valley orgasm, going into the valley. I dive deep down into my sacred space, in opening up, come back to, and then if down there now the orgasm happens, and not up in high excitement, down there means in this image just in deep relaxation, then I come from alone, dive up, come up again, and I'm a sort of free. It was when I'm afraid of it, then I just cling somewhere in the half. I go down and then I cling somewhere in the half, and there, yes, something happens, and then I climb up again. So I don't make the whole path. And that makes it inside of me, I didn't reach it. There must be more. It's like a craving. There must be more. So, but I'm afraid to fall. I'm just afraid. I don't know how to let go. I don't know how to relax into lovemaking. I don't know all that. And then, depending on my character, I'm angry with the other one and say, you are not good enough, maybe we have to separate, I look for another one. Or you think, I'm not good enough, and I'm not the right one, and I don't know how it works, and yeah. And what I said, it is so difficult without learning techniques how love making can be different and create love. And if I don't learn about my own energy, it is very, very difficult as a couple to get out of these old social patterns. What I say, the man should know and the woman should just enjoy. So even if we are strong women and we still, in the moment the prince comes, the big love, the great love, we want that he takes us and we become soft and just fall. He should solve. He's responsible for our happiness. And if it's not happened, we are really sad. And again, we give him all our energy, even he doesn't know what to do with it, he doesn't even want it. And what happens if one part, like love is a dance like this. Yeah, you come together, beautiful lovemaking, you are falling together, then everybody goes again. You bring your energy back towards yourself so that you can meet again. And you meet again. Love is something which has to be recreated all the time. It is not given like another of the stories, then they were happy until the end of their lives. No, they meet, they fall in love, and then they're happy. It's a lie. It's not like this. It is that we have to recreate love, and we can trust, if we learn how it works, that we can do that together. It's a path we go together, where, again, in this moment we just look at each other in this moment of meeting, but then we go free again, and then we both together look into the world. We go and create something in the world, and then we come look to each other again. It's not like a magnetism where we are just looking to each other. So now, if the woman is still patterned to give her love, all her energy to the man she loves, what the man is patterned in this moment, that he has to step back and he feels, I want to be free, I love her, but it's too much. I mean, I cannot breathe anymore, I want to be free. And that is creating this male image that you think, the women always cling on me and I need to be free even if they love. This need to be free, if you love your partner, it's also very hurting. Because at the end, what you would love would be this beautiful dance you had at the beginning when you met at the beginning and fell in love. Two free beings, just, wow, coming together, going out. What's happening in between us? Yes, not now. Yes, not now. And here you are. And if you are now trained that here you stay and the women clings a little bit more, something like this happens. I want to replay this love, this experiment I had before, but I cannot, because I just imitate it. And it becomes more and more hollow and more empty. And the information usually is not given that love is not something like a stone I have in my hand, it's an energy we create, what I was just telling before. So that is what we can learn, and I would really tell every couple who want to make this path of love and freedom, again and again, go and look for these informations, because they are out there, and again, they are simple. They are simple and very, very powerful. Consciousness we need to develop not only about our sexual flow, energy flow, and what we are needing and can explore in our sexual love life, but also what is happening inside of us, how the male-female energy is acting out inside of us. So a lot of us women, now we are successful in the outside world and we feel we can do everything alone. No. To be successful in the outside world, we usually have to use our own male energy, because the world around us is defined by patriarchal rules. Now, attention, if I say patriarchal rules, it doesn't mean at all male rules. I don't mean man. I mean a system which is influencing and suppressing men and women, no? And families, and children, and nature. So it's a power energy over people, humans. So, and that power system is usually led by men. So now more and more women can be part of the system, but to be part of the system, you have to use your male energy. If I look in between my friends, usually what I see that we are father's daughters. As a child already we decided that we want to be strong, that we want to be successful, that we want to decide about our own lives, and very often looking to our mothers, we still feel them more victims of the relation, victims of their life, of being mother. So yes, we want to be like our fathers, no? And that means that we are controlling our life. Again, we can do everything alone. We are also heroes of our life. And hey, if you want to come close, hey, come, here I am. No? And at the same time, again, what I tried to explain before is this very deep longing that the strong man comes and takes us on his white horse and just goes with us, and we can let go. For many of us, that is very, very difficult. It is difficult to find this man where we allow that we can go, because we think he must be very, very special that we can let go, and very often we never find him. So we say, you are not good enough for me, I go on alone. So we separate. It's a lot now that women that we go and separate. And we have no techniques inside of us to be conscious how to explore now our female side. And what is it, our female power? This soft female power, what could it be? In Tantra, there are some explications or some descriptions of male-female power. And so the female power is seen as not only being the creative and playful power in life, but it is also the power of a magnet. We can dream us through visions into reality. We can meditate into reality. We can imagine things so strongly that things come to us. We need a lot of empty space, vacío, so that things can come to us. And if we go to the male side, then yes, we can prove ourselves that we same good as a man, and we can do it too, but we going in more in the male system, that we create our reality through doing, to active doing. So the soft power again of the woman would be to attract the things we need into life, and to attract them we have to become, we have to go down, dive into us, connect with our inner lake of wisdom, which is for women pretty easy, and from there find our heart's desire, and from there just open up that it can come to us. Now we are doing, now we are also controlling. There are quite some of us today, of my friends, I know, I belong to them, who proved themselves that we can do it, like I proved myself that I can become a director in one of the biggest theaters of Berlin and playing the main role. Actress and directress in Freie Volksbühne Berlin. Before I then later, I just let it go, decided to be mother, but not, I have to change space, and we started to live in Ecuador, where everything is different, and children, and this magical space of women is still there. Minimum, you could feel this, that we lived in the countryside, that for a country woman it was totally okay, be on the field and be in the house, and she can have 8 children running around, and it's still possible. So that was just an energy field what was there. Not to say that everybody should copy it, but to see that children belong to the everyday life was for me a very important thing, so that I don't have to organize my child away like in the city, so that I can work and be a good mother. Yeah, so that is then really interesting. If we start to feel this inside of us, then we can go and look for change. And can say, okay, Now we proved it to ourselves, but it doesn't feel, I don't feel home inside of it. I don't feel really relaxed. I don't feel, that I'm in my own power. And if I see, and then, it becomes a time of exploration, because it is not really present in this world, this sort of energy. It's difficult to find. And then we start to meet other women who are on the same path. Like here, my partner here, who is from Turkey and was an army young engineer, something like this, until she started a spiritual path. And now we are both meeting with this female power, which still is power. And that is something what was hidden and forgotten, that we can have power as women, which is very soft, that we can let go, that we can surrender in sexuality and just let go and breathe together with my partner and just be together and open totally up. And the next day we can be strong. It doesn't mean that we give our power away. We just take it again back to ourselves and open up. So that is a very interesting path, no? From proving in this society I can be somebody, going to, but I can do it differently. So what my consequences were is just to create Durga's Tiger School of Tantra, Yoga, Arts, Shamanism, where I just collected these little pieces of power which help us to create, again, personal power. And then it comes again to men and women. That men also start to explore, when do I feel really home, and men, what's happening? And it is really that all the time I'm in competition and I have to prove myself, or can it also be mental clearness, again it's called, versus poor intelligence, that I also decide from my heart what I want to do in my life. I don't listen to all these patterns who tell me I have to make a lot of money, I have to prove myself like this, that, and the other. And I go for love. I go for love. I go for my family, which for others might feel boring, but it can be really very inspiring and very rebellious, just to find my own life. And then as a couple to go and explore together. We don't know what is to be female or male in a very healthy way, because there are very little examples in society at the moment. But if man and woman decide for love, not just a romantic hoodle-doodle, decide, hey, we felt once this holy moment, sacred moment together, and now we go for it, and we trust it. Even if we lose ourselves on the way, we will find ourselves back, we will recreate love. In this moment, exploration starts. And that is, I think, in this moment, the most beautiful challenge. And if we start to explore with all our being, all what we are, because from Tantric point of view, we are pure love. We are this power of the heart. And if we believe in it and go through it, for it, then I think a new culture can be born where Shiva and Shakti can dance together again. Like in electricity, nobody is better. No minus pole is better than the plus pole. Remember, we are just dancing together. And this dance is called love, is life, and here we can create safe places, spaces where children can grow also in a different world with different patterns. I would like to give you one little ritual. And that is just 4 minutes, sit together and with an open view, just look into each other's eyes. And open view means I don't send you informations like I want you, don't be afraid, or do you want me, no questions. And I don't suck from your eyes, do you want me, yeah, I'm okay. Nothing of that. I'm just here, now, present with you, sharing this now together. And I open the windows of my soul, my eyes, and allow you to see me. And I'm staying totally connected within myself. I breathe profoundly, regularly, and I feel myself. That is soft view. And my partner does it too. And with this soft view and a smile behind my eyes of benevolent compassion with myself, I'm just present. 4 minutes, can be 5, but not less than 4 minutes. Look what's happening there. Usually you come to an open heart and suddenly male-female energy start to balance, and you are still very much a woman who can surrender also to sexuality and love, and you are a man who can surrender to not knowing and also just following my impulses, intuitions, dancing together. Aho. Thank you for listening to our podcast. It was really great to share with you. I enjoyed it, and I would totally appreciate if you write us questions, insights, your wishes. You become co-creator of the next episodes. You find us under www.durgasteigerschool.com and in our Instagram. So, have a great day.